Picture this. It's February 1959. 9 experienced hikers pitched their tent on the freezing, desolate slopes of the Ural Mountains. A few weeks later, a search party finds that exact tent slashed open, but from the inside. The hikers are dead, their bodies scattered in the snow. Some are barefoot in sub-zero temperatures. Some have inexplicable, crushing internal injuries. One is missing her tongue. And their clothes? They're emitting high levels of radiation. What on earth chased them out into the dark, deadly cold? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're looking at what is arguably the most chilling and perplexing unsolved mystery of the 20th century, the Dyatlov Pass Incident. For over 60 years, this freezing graveyard has baffled Soviet investigators, modern scientists, and internet sleuths alike. Every time we think we have a logical answer, a new, bizarre detail blows the case completely wide open again. Settle in, because the deeper we go into the snow on Dead Mountain, the stranger this story gets. Our story starts with Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old radio engineering student at the Ural Polytechnical Institute. He assembled a crew of 8 men and 2 women, all hardened, experienced Grade 2 hikers. Their goal was to reach Mount Otorten, a grueling trek that would earn them their Grade 3 certification, the highest level available in the Soviet Union at the time. One member turned back early due to joint pain, a stroke of luck that saved his life. The remaining 9 pushed forward. On February 1st, the weather took a massive turn for the worse. Blinding snow and plummeting temperatures forced the group off course. They decided to set up camp on the slopes of Holat Syakhl. In the local indigenous Mansi language, that translates ominously to Dead Mountain. They never made it to their destination. When they missed their check-in telegram, a massive search and rescue operation was launched. On February 26th, searchers finally found the campsite. The tent was half torn down and buried in snow. All their gear, heavy coats, boots, survival equipment, was still inside. But it was the tent fabric itself that gave investigators their first chill. It had been cut open from the inside out. Whatever happened in that tent, the hikers were so terrified they didn't even bother to untie the doors. They cut their way out and ran into the negative 22-degree Fahrenheit blizzard. Here's where things get really weird. The searchers found footprints leading away from the tent toward a nearby forest. The prints showed that some hikers were wearing only socks, a single shoe, or were completely barefoot. A mile away, at the edge of the woods, under a massive cedar tree, they found the first 2 bodies. They were dressed only in their underwear, lying next to the remains of a small, desperate fire. The branches of the tree were snapped up to 15 feet high, suggesting someone had been desperately climbing it, either to look for their tent or to escape something on the ground. Over the next few months, the remaining bodies were pulled from the snow. 3 were found frozen in poses that suggested they were trying to crawl back to the tent, but the final 4, found deeper in a ravine, completely shattered any logical explanation. These 4 had catastrophic injuries. 1 had a crushed skull, 2 had massive chest fractures. The lead doctor performing the autopsies stated the force required to cause such damage was equal to a high-speed car crash, yet chillingly, there were almost no external wounds, as if they had been crushed by an immense invisible pressure. Furthermore, soft tissue was missing from the faces of some victims, including eyes and a tongue. To top it all off, tests revealed that several pieces of the hikers' clothing contained unusually high levels of radiation. The Soviet government quietly classified the files, closed the region to the public for 3 years, and concluded the deaths were caused by a compelling natural force. Let that sink in. A compelling natural force. So, what actually happened on Dead Mountain? Over the decades, dozens of theories have emerged. The first, and most recent scientific consensus, is a highly specific type of avalanche called a slab avalanche. Proponents of this theory argue that the hikers cut into the snowpack to pitch their tent, destabilizing a block of snow that eventually crashed down on them in the night. This explains the blunt force trauma and the panic. However, critics point out that the slope was too shallow for a typical avalanche, and it absolutely does not explain the radiation or the missing soft tissue. The second theory involves secret Soviet military testing. Other hiking groups roughly 30 miles away reported seeing strange glowing orange spheres in the night sky around the time of the incident. Were the hikers victims of a parachute mine testing gone wrong? Parachute mines detonate in the air, creating a concussive shockwave that causes massive internal injuries without leaving shrapnel wounds. This could also neatly explain the government cover-up, the glowing orbs, and the radiation. A third, wilder theory involves infrasound. The specific shape of the mountain combined with the high winds could have created a Kármán vortex street, producing low-frequency sound waves that humans can't hear, but that cause severe panic, nausea, and an overwhelming sense of dread. This could explain why seasoned survivalists cut themselves out of their tent and ran into a blizzard without their boots. 60 years later, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains a perfect storm of tragedy, weird science, and government secrecy. Even with modern computer modeling pointing toward bizarre snow formations, many still believe the official story is hiding a darker truth. Maybe it was just the brutal, unforgiving nature of the Ural Mountains, or maybe something else entirely was waiting for them in the dark. What do you think chased them out of the tent? Let me know your theory in the comments below.